This video is Ask the Rabbi, Volume 12. So first question is, an unmarried woman wanted to know, for modesty purposes, should she cover her hair? So the answer is, for modesty purposes, no. The Orthodox would say, cover your hair only when you're married. That way they can tell who's married. And they believe the laws of hair being arousing to a man applies basically only when you're married, and therefore unmarried women shouldn't wear their head covered. In the ultra-Orthodox world, they wear wigs. In the modern Orthodox world, they wear hats, but in such a way that they cover most of the hair. And in our synagogue, women who are married wear doilies. Now, there's other reasons why women cover their head today, and that's egalitarian. Men cover their heads for awe of God, so women should. But that's not that common in the Jewish world yet. Second fellow was irritated with me because they thought that I was suggesting that Muslims don't, in general, treat Jews well. Now, of course, there are some Muslims who, probably many, who think Judaism is terrific, but he was mistaken, I believe, in the idea that Islam considers Judaism equal. First of all, Islam is based on jihad, most of it, of conquering the world for Islam. Second of all, Jews and Christians are called dhimmi, D-H-I-M-M-I, which are people of the book, protected classes, but subservient to Islam. And third, in the practical real world, which he didn't understand at all, and many of the Muslim mosques around the world, the Friday sermons are blasting Jews for infidels and devils and all kinds of horrible things. So in the practical world, much of Islam does not think Judaism is valid or equal to Islam. So I thought that was really absurd. Then somebody else wanted to know if it's okay to study Kabbalah mysticism below the age of 40. First of all, 40 today is not what 40 was then. The idea was you should be male and well-versed in rabbinic sources. Now, Kabbalah should not be a substitute for real Jewish study. It should be based on an authentic knowledge of Judaism, but certainly younger people than 40 can study it, and it doesn't have to be restricted to men, so I don't think those rules pertain anymore. But real mysticism should be based on real Torah study and not this kind of Kabbalah center stuff that isn't, in my opinion, valid. Then some fellow wanted to know why it was not okay to make your living selling drugs, illegal drugs, and where in Judaism would that be prohibited. I did a video on the concept of dina de malchuta dina, which is the civil law of the land is the law, that anything is prohibited by the secular society as illegal would also be considered then illegal in Judaism, unless a law is completely immoral, and that's a different situation. But if the society says that illegal drugs are illegal, it's not okay to profit from them. Then somebody wanted to know, could they convert to Judaism even though sometimes their work required them to work on the Sabbath? Well, there's very different standards of conversion. Orthodox rabbis would absolutely not convert someone, probably under those circumstances. Conservative rabbis probably would. I would. Generally, we want the declaration of faith and the standards that we have ask people to make Shabbat an important part of their lives, and kashrut an part of their lives, but it doesn't say you have to be strictly Sabbath observing. We'd like people to work for that, but we're fully cognizant that virtually all conservative Jews do not observe the Sabbath fully. And somebody wanted to know also, is it okay to drive to the synagogue on the Shabbat? And the conservative, it's not an issue for Reconstructionist and Reform rabbis. The Orthodox walk to shul, or the joke used to be park 2 blocks away and then walk the rest of the way. But I think that's changed now, and very few Orthodox Jews would be caught driving to the synagogue. Conservative Jews permit it on the basis of the importance of the mitzvah of public prayer supersedes the issue of driving, and so we permit people to drive to the synagogue on the Sabbath. Somebody else wanted to know if eating fish and cheese was okay together. The answer is yes. Fish is considered parv. It's not meat, and so eating fish and cheese together, a fish burger, cheese fish sandwich would be perfectly fine. Like that, somebody wanted to know why why fish are not slaughtered, and the answer is there's a hierarchy in animal slaughtering, and therefore animals are slaughtered, fowl is slaughtered, fish are not. And those are the rules of the Torah. Somebody also wanted to know what are the morning and evening blessings. For evening, at least say the Shema and the V'ahavta, thou shalt love paragraph before you go to bed. And in the morning, there's a whole series of morning blessings as part of the ritual. There's a prayer for the bathroom, which I did a video on. There's if you open up a morning prayer book, a Siddur, you'll see lots of prayers. Modeh Ani is the first thing you should say. which is thank you, God, for giving me my soul back. There's morning blessings. There's several prayers to say in the morning. And, of course, the shacharit service in the morning as well. And finally, somebody asked about food blessings. They wanted to know if you're eating chicken and peas and rice and water, do you say a bracha for each item? And the answer is no. For a meal, you say the most important blessing. So if you're eating bread, the motzi covers everything, the whole meal, except for wine. If you're having wine, you'd say borei pri hagafen. If you're having a full meal besides bread, you'd say shehakol niyeh bidvaro, and that would cover everything. If you're having individual snacks, then you would look for the right bracha, like borei pri ha'etz for a fruit from a tree, or borei pri ha'adamah like a potato, or borei mizonot for a cookie. That's the basic rule of brachot before a meal. Hope that answers a lot of the questions for this session of Ask the Rabbi 12.